So this is a half moon key, they call it, for I guess obvious reasons. You start it slow. And that's kind of close to the edge, so I'm going to start it a little further out. Now that show was full of lessons. When on the plane, Steve said, "This is the deal. It's this much an hour. It's overtime after 8. It's double time after 12. It's this and this and this." And I laid the whole thing out for me. It's this much per diem and all of that. So I was excited because it was a good deal. And it was the first time that I'd been on a non-union show that took care of you like that. And so we got to Montreal and I'm doing the makeup test. Let's see what we can do. Probably have to do that by hand. We'll fix that. So I'm in the middle of the makeup test and Steve comes into the makeup room and he says, "You know that deal I told you about? That's not the deal." I said, "What's the deal?" He said, "They want to do a flat braid," which I hate doing because then they can work you to death, and they did. We ended up being up on the job from 5:30 a.m. Until 11 p.m. every day. The makeup shot. It was a 3-week shoot. But chip brush. And I've had that happen on a couple of productions where the shop thinks the deal is one thing and the producers think the deal is a different thing. Both times it happened, I said, because frequently when you work out of the country, you are liable for taxes in the U.S. and whatever country you're in. If your check is run through production payroll. So the last time it happened, I said, "Listen, I'll stay here in Australia, but I want to get paid in the U.S. So I had the shop pay me in the U.S. my regular, or the salary that was promised to me, and I just reported my hours every week, and they cut a check and gave it to my girlfriend, who put it in my checking account. So it's no deal is concrete. I mean, when they started talking about in Australia having to pay Australian taxes as well as U.S. taxes, I thought, I'm going to get so much money taken out of my pay that I'm not going to end up with anything. The rate I got was pretty good, but with the extra taxes, it took all the good deal out of it. So the last key I want to drill is, it's really here. I think I'm going to add a little clay there to be sure I have enough room. Do you have the clay piece? I'm going to add a little clay on here so that I have room to drill a key. But the fun thing about Australia was we burned down a soundstage there, so. Yeah. It was the newest soundstage on the Warner Brothers lot in Queensland. Not anymore. $8.2 million. Well, there was this fire on set. Yeah. It was for its production of House of Wax with Paris Hilton, which was fun because I got to kill Paris Hilton on the show.
Which was a really good kill, by the way.
Yeah, it was fun. But where was I? Burning a soundstage down. My kids came to visit while I was working on the show. It was summertime that we were shooting up here, and they were out of school, so I said, well, come on down. So my girlfriend brought them down, and we had a great time. My daughter, at one point, I was going up to, I heard there was some barbecue, of all things, at craft service up by the sound, just outside the soundstage they were shooting at. So my daughter and I round the production building, and there's the soundstage out in the distance with flames shooting out from the roof. And she says, "Is that supposed to be like that?" No, that's a bad thing. And that was my introduction to it. Then the producer came just rocketing by in a golf cart, and everybody got out of the stage fine. The actors said that they were the last two people in the soundstage running out after everybody. And the ducts overhead, the air ducts overhead were exploding as they ran out. It was pretty crazy. But everybody was fine. The fire was set by production. It just got out of hand and burned the stage down. On that particular day, they told everybody to bring all of your stuff that's working in that scene to set, so the director didn't have to wait for people to go back to their lockups and get supplies. So everything every department had was on stage at the time, all the costumes, all everything, props. So they lost it all. They were down for 5 weeks and then went back and finished shooting. But part of the problem was, well, there were two things. It was very suspicious, I think, in my own mind. There were no fire personnel on stage at all. There were none on the lot at all. And I had a great photo on my camera of a lone highway patrolman sitting on his motorcycle with this flaming building in the background. But, yeah, so 5 weeks later, they had put a roof on this set, which represented the interior of the House of Wax. And the director, in his wisdom, said, nothing looks like wax except wax. And he wanted the house to be made out of wax. So they built a standard set wall, painted it, and sprayed it with wax. And all that atomized wax drifted up into the perms up high. And that's what was exploding over the actors' heads as they were running out, was all this wax that had drifted up there. But you think about it, they had a wooden subsurface covered with wax, which they were pouring oil on so it would light on fire. It was like a giant candle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope they had
And
a
there
good
were-
insurance policy.
Yeah. There were propane tanks on stage.
Oh my god.
And we heard those things. Yeah, we heard those things exploding from the distance we were. From a quarter mile away.
Right.
They ran like hell. I bet. The first AD just said, "Get out," and everybody ran. Yeah. We had one thing up there that was playing, and that was pretty much all we had. Was a silicone dummy of Jared Padalecki at the piano. It was a crazy shoot.
Yeah.
I like tongue depressors for making keys because They're about the right size to make a nice, generously sized half-moon key. This shape of key works well in this size of mold. If you go mold bigger than this, like for when we're in ALT and doing molds of full heads, then we'll do I'm not sure quite what to call them even. It's a beveled key. It's shaped like that. But those you want to be large enough that they don't break off. You make them big enough so that they're substantial and they lock them all together. And watch yourself right here. This side of the key, that it doesn't come back around and make a lock there. And I'm going to have to spray this one more time after I get it smoothed out a little bit. Yeah, so I was doing House of Wax was the first show I did at K&B, and I called Howard. Howard was in New Zealand, right across the water, working on Lion Witch in the Wardrobe. So I called him as the soundstage was burning down. I said, "Well, Howard, you're going to see us on the news tonight." He said, "What? Why is that?" I said, "I'm watching the soundstage burn down right now." "What?" So of course I had to tell him the whole story, and he thought it was incredibly funny. We started shooting that movie. The director had no idea what he wanted the killer to look like. He wears a mask that just looks like a freakish version of a normal person for most of the show, and then once the mask comes off, they had no idea what he wanted to look like. And we kept doing concepts for him, but I think he wasn't happy with them because he really wanted to do something CGI, which they ended up doing. And we sculpted a design for it that they loved, and then we put up a silicone copy of the sculpture and painted it and sent it off to be scanned by the digital effects department. And you know, we never saw that sculpture again. It ended up in their display case. We're like, "You guys didn't make that, we made that." Okay, let me just do a smoothie on this. Okay, round two. We'll spray this.